Hey everybody, it's Gamer Gramps here. Today we're talking about the Civ VI Best Mods, specifically the best Civ VI Gathering Storm UI mods. So if that's something you want to learn more about, then definitely stick around. If you want to get good at Civ VI, subscribe and hit the bell to keep up with this channel. Alright, in all my shorter tutorial videos like this, I put timestamps pinned at the top of the comment section, so you can jump through the videos as fast as you want to if you don't want to watch the whole thing. I just want to start off by saying that these are all UI mods, so that's user interface for those of you who don't know, but they don't actually change the gameplay at all. They just change the way that information you already have access to is presented to you in order to make it easier to understand and make decisions based on accurate information. So again, nothing against anybody who does use gameplay mods. I just personally don't like to, so to each their own. I also want to take a quick second here to give a shout out to one of my viewers named Haysam, who actually watched my first video on the mods that I use, and then he went out and researched like 15 new UI mods for me and made some videos so that I could go through it and find the ones that I like. If you do want to see his whole list, I'll put a link in the top right hand corner of the screen. You can jump there right now. Other than that though, I personally only chose a few of the mods he suggested, but that's because I'm very nitpicky and don't like to use a whole shitload of mods. Anyway, the first mod we're going to talk about today is called the Better Report screen. It's another beautiful mod, just like say Concise UI, where as soon as I saw one of the features, I just had to have it and probably will never play another game without having it on. So the name sums this mod up pretty well. What it does is take several of the different reports that were always available to you in the base game, and it just changes the way that information is presented to you. One such report that is altered is the city screen report. It's changed the way that you can see whether your cities are growing properly and are getting the bonuses from being happy or ecstatic. If you jump over to the yields report, it's also made changes here. It's now a lot easier to see which cities have the highest production, culture, or science, etc., and the different things that are responsible for generating such yields. As nice as these changes are, and don't get me wrong, there are other change report screens as well, they aren't why I just have to have this mod installed. The reason for that is the addition of this policies report right here. This baby is an absolute godsend. So what this gem does is it takes all the different policy cards that you have access to at the moment, and then it looks at your current situation in the game. It calculates how effective each possible policy card would be if you plugged it in and used it. So it literally tells you the exact amount of faith that scripture is giving you, or the exact amount of science you would be earning if you plugged a rationalism policy card in, or the total amount of gold that Merchant Confederation is earning you per turn. You get it. Or at least I hope you do. This is fucking crazy powerful. Instead of just being able to have a good idea of which policy cards are good to slot in, now you have the exact information tailored specifically to your current game status. Moving on to the next one we're covering today, this is also very accurately named and is called the Better Trade Screen mod. This is a nice and simple mod, so I'll try to do it justice and keep my explanation and the covering of it nice and simple as well. It's very convenient and helps you choose the best location to send your trade route to. It gives you a few other filters to help make the choice, and then also has the option to not only renew the route if you want to keep it going, but you can also make it renew the trade route based on the best available option that you've selected. So this is a great feature if say you always want to have the highest production trade route going to this particular city, but after some other trade routes finish and make trading posts, you now have access to a better city which would give you higher production. This feature will automatically adjust the trade route and send it to the new city without you having to do it. Another feature of this mod that I find particularly handy is the ability to open your trade route overview here and actually be able to see how many turns until the trade route is finished. This can be particularly useful when attempting to min-max and take full advantage of certain policy cards throughout the game. Hey everybody, Gamer Gramps here. I'm quickly interrupting just to say that if you're enjoying the video, please do me a favor and leave a like on it if you haven't already. It does really go a long way towards helping the channel get discovered, and clearly you know it by now. I'm special. I need all the help I can get, right? Alright, last but not least is a real gem of a mod called the Real Era Tracker. What this bad boy does is take all the stress out of securing your next golden age for you. I don't know, maybe I'm the only one, but sometimes when I get into the mid and late game, I really struggle to get my third or fourth golden age. This mod makes that a problem of the past. So what it does is take all of the possible ways that you can gain era score, which you can painfully search for if you go into the Civilopedia, and it presents them in a much more helpful and easier to decipher way. You can also filter the error score possibilities that are no longer an option in your current game, which is very handy as well. So you can come and look here in the world's first category to see all of the really huge boosts to error score that haven't been triggered yet. This is nice, and you can usually find a good one or two that you should be able to earn in time if you put some thought into it. However, you can also pop over to this other tab here and look at error score boosts that are specific to your own civilization, so you can easily filter through them and pick all the easiest ones for you to get. If you don't know the specifics of a certain error score boost, then just hover your mouse over it and it'll explain it for you. Then there are also the error scores that you can earn for yourself over and over throughout the game by doing the same thing repeatedly. Most of these are pretty easy to memorize, but until you do, here's an easy way to keep them at the front of your mind when you're on the hunt for your next golden age. So those are my 3 must-have mods that I found out about from the research that Hasten did for me. Some honorable mentions would also be a mod called the toggle unit lenses, another one called custom notifications, and a third one called the policy change reminder mod. If you're interested in learning about some UI mods that I find even more helpful than the 3 I covered already, I'll put a link in the top right corner of the screen right now where you can jump over there to find out my favorite UI mods before I added these 3 to the mix. What are your favorite mods? Do you use the ones that affect gameplay or just UI mods? Or do you hate all mods in general and you just randomly decide to watch this video to punish yourself and see all the cool stuff you're missing out on? Anyway, if you haven't guessed it by now, this is where I'm wrapping up the video. So thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please do me a favor and leave a like on the video. It really does go a long way towards helping a small channel like me get discovered. But better yet, comment down below. I'd like to hear from you. The engagement does help my channel grow too, but most importantly, I really just like to get to know my community members. And personally, I think that's probably the funnest thing about this whole YouTube experience, is just quote unquote meeting people from around the world and interacting with them. But anyway, I've rambled enough for this video at least, so I'm just going to shut up and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.